Good morning, students. This is my lecture number 1 for class 11th, subject English, for chapter number 3, Ranga's Marriage, which is written by Masti Venkatesha Iyengar. Children, this chapter is taken from your supplementary book, Snapshots. Today, in this lecture number 1, we will cover this chapter from page number 16 to 20. In this chapter, I will let you know the main characters of this chapter, Ranga's Marriage. I'll give you the introduction of this chapter, and then we will go with the explanation of the chapter from page number 16 to 20, line by line. As I told you, I'll let you know the characters of the story. So let's begin with the main characters of Ranga's Marriage. First of all, the main protagonist of this chapter is Ranganathan, who is called Ranga. Then it is the narrator, who is Masti Venkatesh Iyengar. And then there is a girl named Ratna, who is Ramarao's niece. Ramarao is also living in the same village of Ranga. Then there is one more character, that is Shastri, who plays a vital role in changing the mood of Ranga about his marriage. So these are the main characters: Ranganathan, Masti Venkatesh Iyengar, Ratna and Shastri. Now I will introduce this chapter to all of you. Ranga's Marriage. The story of Ranga's marriage revolves around Ranga, who is the accountant's son and is one of the rare breed. Breed is a person or a thing with characteristics that are uncommon among their kind, a rarity. So, Ranga is considered one of the rare breed among the village folk who has been to city to pursue his studies. That means Ranga is the first boy of the village who had gone out to a city for his higher studies. And when he returns to his village named Hosahalli from the city of Bangalore, the crowds mill around his house to see whether he has changed or not. Means when he comes back from Bangalore to his village, then the whole village people gather in front of his house to see whether the boy from the village who went to study in city has brought some changes in his personality or the traits or not. The narrator takes the readers through a journey where he changes Ranga's perception about his marriage, because Ranga's ideas about marriage are quite different from others. Now, he staged their union with the help of a Shastri, and finally he becomes successful in changing the mind of Ranga, the boy whose ideas about marriage were quite different from others and wanted not to marry an immature girl, gets ready to marry happily and in fact becomes desperate to marry a girl who is not mature enough. So let's study the chapter and we'll find out how the narrator convinced Ranga to marry. The narrator expects his readers to be questioning in the very beginning of the chapter with the simplicity of the title he has suggested to his chapter, that is Ranga's Marriage. He feels readers might be thinking of some fancy titles like Ranganatha Vivaha. Vivaha is a Hindi word which means marriage. Ranganatha Vijaya. Vijaya means victory. Or Giriraja Kalyana. But he clarifies that although he had options of keeping such elaborate names, the reason why he chose the basic and casual one is because the story is about the boy named Ranga, as in someone who is very close and dear to the narrator. They live in a village called Hosahalli in Mysore. Not many people know of it, and the narrator does not blame them because there is no trace of this village in the geography books. Geography is the book that tells you the location of different places around the world. So the narrator says that he would not feel bad if readers say that they are unaware of this name Hosahali, because he says this village is very small to be mentioned in any geography book, therefore people get to know nothing about this place. Even the Englishmen have no idea about the place, but they are also not to blame because our citizens too are completely ignorant about this village. He refers to the people as sheep. Here he is talking about the people of his own village, Hosahali. He says the people of this village are considered as sheep who blindly follow each other and do not use their logic or brain to justify or invent things. And then at last he feels the cartographer is also not to be held responsible for this. As a result, there is no trace of their village on the map. The narrator begins this chapter with the description of his own village, Hosahali, and he clarifies very clearly that the village is nowhere mentioned in any one of the geography book or any atlas, and people are unaware of this village because not even the cartographers know about this village. Therefore, while designing their maps, they do not mention any existence of this village in their map. And he says that the people of this village are so simple and they behave like sheep. They blindly follow each other. They do not use their brain to invent any logic or justify the things. What other peoples are doing or whatever the customary things are being followed by one or another, rest of the villagers follow the same without using their logics or their mind. Therefore, Ranga is the only boy from the village Hosahali who was sent outside in the city of Bangalore for his higher education. And when he comes back, people get surprised and gather there in front of his home to know whether he has brought all the traits of the city people in him or he is still a boy of the village. Now the narrator feels apologetic for getting carried away and deviating from the topic. He then again throws light upon the significance of the village Hosahali. He describes what his village is famous for. He says it is just as important as Mysore is to India. Karigadabu is a South Indian fried sweet filled with coconut and sugar. He says Karigadabu to a festival meal and filling is to Karigadabu. Thus, he can't highlight its importance anymore. Not only him, but the doctor named Gunda Bhatta feels the same. The doctor has been to many places except England, but still he loves Hosahali. However, an outsider might contest this, but the narrator claims to stick to his opinion of the place. Then the narrator tells the readers about their special mango trees in the village, whose mangoes are famous for special quality. He once took the fruit at home to make chutney, and everyone suffered from a bad cough after eating it. It was only when he went to see the doctor that he told him about the quality of mangoes of Hosahali. The narrator asks the readers to take a bite and assures that the soreness of mango will be felt by them till the top of their head, where Brahmarandhra is located. Not only the mangoes, everything in and around this village is remarkable. The creeper growing in the pond and its flowers are also special. One can even serve an afternoon meal on its leaves, and all of you need to do is to grab 2 leaves when you are on your way to the pond to bathe. After speaking highly of his village, the narrator says, if anyone wishes to see for herself, one must contact him. He will help them to reach there. Also, he feels that there is no better way to know a place than to visit it. Children, now the author will tell you the importance of learning English. He would say how it can make changes in your life. The narrator then brings about a comparison as to how things were different 10 years ago when not many people knew or spoke English. Neither did people send their children to big cities like Bangalore to study. Back then, only the village accountant had the courage to send his son to Bangalore. According to the author, those times were simpler. He justifies his claim by telling an incident where he was at Rama Rao's house and they had just bought a bundle of firewood from an old lady. Rama Rao told her to come next morning as he did not have any change at that moment. The poor lady did not know what change, this word change meant, and she went away whispering to herself. Neither did the narrator know its meaning. It was only when he went to Ranga's house that he told him. So this is what he says, that if you do not know the language, it makes all the differences in your life. Now he will talk about Ranga's arrival at the village. However, 10 years ago, English was not commonly spoken in the village, and when the villagers came to know that Ranga, the accountant's son, was coming home from Bangalore, everyone got excited and rushed to his home to have a glance at him. All the people were waiting outside Ranga's house because the place would look like the black hole of Calcutta if they all went inside. By saying this, the narrator means that there were so many people that the house would have fallen short to accommodate them all. Thus, Ranga came outside with a smile on his face. Everyone was so amazed to see that Ranga had not changed a bit after he left 6 months ago. An old lady even went to the extent of running her hands through his chest to check for a sacred thread that was known Janevara. In Kannada language, Janevara is the sacred thread worn by Brahmins. So the lady went close to him to check whether he was wearing his sacred thread, that Janevara, or not. However, she went away after confirming that he had not forgotten about his caste. Once the villagers realized that Ranga did not change even after moving to the big city, they all disappeared as fast as a lump of sugar does in a child's mouth. The narrator waited till the crowd cleared and asked him about his well-being. Ranga noticed him and replied with full respect in a traditional way. Ranga had not noticed the narrator in the crowd before that moment. Ranga was very well behaved and well aware as to who could benefit him. He was one of those who could analyze someone's worth rightfully. For how he greeted the narrator, he bent low and touched his feet, thereby seeking his blessings. It was not the present day namaskara where children would do it casually. It was a proper traditional one. The narrator blessed him that he might get married soon, and then the narrator left. Now he will talk about Ranga's resolution for not getting married. So that afternoon, Ranga visited the author with a few oranges, which the narrator thought was quite thoughtful of him. Thinking of how nice Ranga is, the author thought it would be a good deed to have him married to a girl just as nice as him. They chatted for a while, and then the narrator asked Ranga about his views on getting married. Ranga expressed that he did not intend to marry now because he intended on finding the right girl. He cited the example of an officer who got married at the age of 30 to a woman aged 25. Now, since these were both adults, they would understand each other's actions and behavior. Whereas, suppose the narrator found a girl who was very young, she could misunderstand his words or actions because she was not mature enough. So he even mentioned the love story of Shakuntala and Dushyanta from Mahabharata, and that he would not have fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young. So all these were the discussions held between Ranga and the narrator, because the narrator wanted to know the idea of Ranga's mind about his marriage. So he continued with the story of Kalidasa, that in that case Kalidasa's play also would have not existed. That is why he intended on staying a bachelor till he found the right girl. These were the views of Ranga's about his marriage. He gave the example of one of the officer, and then he made it clear to the narrator that unless or until he would find a suitable mature girl for marriage, he would never marry, and it would be better to remain a bachelor if he was unable to find a mature girl. He wanted to marry a girl who must not be very younger to him in age, and who must be mature enough to differentiate between the words spoken in love and anger. Then he said he would be finding a girl. If he is unable to find a girl, he would not marry at all. Now the narrator introduces Ratna, one more main character of the story, with the readers. Here the narrator introduces us to a new character in the story named Ratna. She is 11 years old girl and is Rama Rao's niece. Rama Rao, who also lives in the same village, Hosahali, and this girl is the niece of Rama Rao. She had lost both her parents, so her uncle Rama Rao brought her from the big town to his home with him. She had a great voice and could play harmonium and veena. The narrator thought that the Ranga and Ratna would make a great pair. But the thoughts about marriage of Ranga were somewhere in his mind, that Ranga decided not to marry an immature girl, and Ratna was just 11 years old. And now the narrator decided to make this a beautiful couple of Ratna and Ranga. Children, this is the story of the times when people did not think about the age of girls when they got them married with different boys, those who were very adult. As Ranga was not a small boy, but Ratna was just 11 years old, and the narrator did not notice this difference, and he wanted to convince somehow Ranga to marry Ratna. Though Ranga had very good thoughts about his marriage, because he was not wrong when he said he would marry a mature girl who would differentiate between the words spoken in love and anger, and he would marry the girl who would treat him properly, because he did not want the age gap must be more between him and his wife. But now it was the narrator who wanted Ranga to marry Ratna. Therefore he had decided to convince Ranga to marry this 11 years old girl who was Rama Rao's niece and had come from the big town because she had lost both her parents. And now this girl undoubtedly was beautiful, and she had a very good voice also, and she could play harmonium and veena too. And therefore the narrator thought this would be the perfect match for Ranga. And Ratna was quite familiar with the narrator, as he used to visit Rama Rao's place frequently. So Ratna also felt friendly with the narrator. The narrator thought of a plan to introduce Ratna to Ranga. He asked Rama Rao to send his niece Ratna to his own place as he wanted to send some buttermilk for them. So she came all dressed up. The narrator insisted upon her to sing a song while he sent someone to call Ranga. Just as Ratna was singing, Ranga arrived at the door of the narrator. The melodious voice of Ratna touched the ears of Ranga, and thus he did not want to interrupt the singing, so he stood at the doorstep only. He was curious to see the face of the singer, and was very cautiously he tried to have a look which disturbed the lighting of the room. On seeing a stranger, Ratna immediately stopped her singing. This was the first meeting of Ratna and Ranga planned by the author intentionally. The author called for Ratna to fetch some buttermilk from his house, and he asked her to sing a song of Krishnamurti, as he knew that Ratna was blessed with melodious voice and she had a talent to play on the harmonium. And Ratna could not say no to the narrator, so she started singing the song of Krishnamurti by playing harmonium lying at his home. And meanwhile, the narrator sent someone to call Ranga. And when Ranga reached there, he could not resist himself from listening to the song sung by Ratna. And he became very curious to see the face of the singer. As it interrupted Ratna, who was lost in singing and playing on harmonium, she stopped singing and hid herself behind the wall. And then the narrator felt very happy because of his experience, he could see Ranga becoming curious to see the face of that girl, and he thought that the seed of love had been sown in his heart. So children, this was the complete explanation of this chapter, Ranga's marriage, from page number 16 to 20. As you know, the chapter has not been completed yet. We will continue with the explanation of the chapter in my lecture number 2. And you would have seen that from page number 16 to 20, the narrator gave the complete description about his village, Hosahali. Then he told how the boy named Ranga went to the city of Bangalore for his higher studies, and how he came back after 6 months without bringing any change in his personality, and the people gathered there because it was a great event for the villagers to see Ranga, and they wanted to notice if there is any change in Ranga's personality. But they all felt happy as Ranga had not brought any tradition of the city with him, and he was still a boy of the village. Then Ranga met the narrator, and the narrator felt very happy to see Ranga as a good boy, and the narrator decided to make him married and wanted to know about his views about marriage. There he got to know that Ranga had some different views about marriage. They were not as common of the villagers were having about their marriage. So he got to know that Ranga wanted to marry a mature girl. And then he noticed the girl who was at Rama Rao's house, whose name was Ratna, though she was only 11 years old. But the narrator thought that she would be the best match for Ranga, and that would be a very good couple of Ranga and Ratna. And the narrator decided to make Ranga marry Ratna. Therefore, he called Ratna to his place to fetch some buttermilk from there and asked her to sing a song of Krishnamurti by playing harmonium at his home. And meanwhile, he sent someone to call Ranga also. This all was done intentionally. He planned this meeting of Ratna and Ranga in advance, and therefore he succeeded when he saw that the seed of love had been sown into the heart of Ranga, as Ranga became curious to see the face of the melodious singer sitting at the narrator's house. So this is what we have studied from page number 16 to 20, and rest part of the chapter we will cover in my lecture number 2. And children, on the basis of understanding the chapter, you are supposed to write the summary of the chapter from page number 16 to 20 in your Fair English notebooks. Make sure you are reading the whole chapter word to word from the book, and then you will be writing the summary of the chapter in your Fair English notebook. Thank you. Have a nice day.